All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about something that could fundamentally flip the script on how we build things online, GPT-5, and what people are calling the vibe coding revolution. It's this idea that you could turn your thoughts directly into working apps. And you know what? It might be a lot closer than any of us thought.
This question from Mashable really just cuts right to the chase, doesn't it? For so long, the idea of creating software without actually, writing code has felt like something out of a movie. But what if that's all about to change?
And this gets us to the vibe coding dream. You know the feeling. You have this amazing idea for an app, but you don't have the technical chops to build it. Well, the dream is that you could just describe it, explain the vibe, the feel, the function, and an AI would just make it happen.
So let's be super clear here. Vibe coding isn't some new complicated programming language you have to learn. It's actually the opposite. It's the absence of a programming language. The whole idea is that you use natural language, just plain English, to explain what you want to build. You're the visionary, the AI is the engineer.
And look, that's been the big problem, right? We've heard this promise before. Previous AI models, they could spit out some code, but they'd get tangled up in complex requests, the code would be buggy, or they'd just totally miss the point. The dream was there, but the tech just wasn't ready. Until, maybe, now?
And this is where the hero of our story enters the scene. OpenAI's new model, let's call it GPT-5 for now. This isn't being talked about as just another update. It's being framed as a genuine leap forward, the tool that could finally make good on that promise of vibe coding and act like your own personal on-call programmer.
So what's the secret sauce? What's different this time? Well, it comes down to a few really key upgrades. First, there's this thing called agentic coding. Basically, it means the AI can work away on a problem all by itself for minutes at a time, kind of like a human developer really thinking through a challenge. It's also smarter about how it uses its brain power, deciding on its own when to spend extra time on a really tough problem, and maybe most importantly, its memory is way, way better.
And when I say its memory is better, I mean it's absolutely massive. We're talking about a 256,000 token context window. Now, what on earth does that mean for you and me? It means it can hold huge amounts of information, like entire design documents or super long complicated instructions in its short-term memory all at once. This is what lets it handle big, ambitious projects without getting lost or forgetting what you asked for 5 minutes ago.
Okay, so that all sounds good on paper, but does it actually work in the real world? To find out, Mashable's tech editor set up this brilliant head-to-head challenge for the old and new AI models, involving a pretty famous shipwreck. So here was the challenge. The prompt was, create a custom interactive visualization of the sinking of the Titanic, and it had to include a clock showing a timeline of events and details about the ship's compartments flooding. I mean, that is not a simple request. So how did they do? Well, the results were pretty staggering. The previous model, GPT-4o, really fell flat. Its first attempt just plain didn't work. The final version it managed to produce was clunky, barely interactive, and visually underwhelming. But GPT-5, it knocked it out of the park. It built a realistic, fully interactive app. You could see the water filling the compartments, and you could pause and scrub through the timeline. The difference wasn't just small, it was night and day.
A successful test like this points to something so much bigger. We could be looking at a fundamental shift in how we think about making anything digital.
And this quote from Mashable just nails it. The next big coding language is actually just natural language. Just let that sink in for a second. It suggests that the most important skill for building things in the future won't be learning Python or JavaScript, but just getting really good at explaining what you want.
And that's the real takeaway here. The barrier to entry for becoming a creator is changing right before our eyes. The focus is shifting away from deep technical knowledge and towards something else entirely: clarity of vision. Your power will come from the strength of your ideas and your ability to communicate them clearly.
Okay, so before we all quit our jobs to become app moguls, we need to take a deep breath and have a little reality check. Because even though this tech is incredibly impressive, it's a huge leap forward, but it's not actual magic. Not yet, anyway.
The reporting on this is pretty clear about the limitations. First, there are still going to be bugs in the code. Second, the result you get is only as good as the prompt you give it.
This skill, prompt engineering, is going to be huge. Third, don't expect it to nail a complex app on the very first try. And finally, look, these are amazing early results, but we definitely need more independent testing to see how it really holds up.
And all of this leads us to a final, really big question. If creating a complex application truly becomes as simple as describing it, what does it even mean to be a creator or a developer in that future? What skills matter most? It's a really profound thought, and it's a question we're all going to be figuring out together as this new era unfolds. Thanks for tuning in.